en osiepna William Samoei Ruto. Kung'iyo kaka tich tire Homa Bay. King'iyo kaka tich tire Homa Bay. Wadwa kwayo kabisa mondo kuyie wa support jatelo aito ka use support jatelo.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is Felix Odiwuor, also known as and popularly known as Jalango. Jalango is the member of parliament of Langata constituency, where Raila Amolo Odinga is a resident, William Ruto is a resident, even Rigathi Gachagua is a resident there. Ladies and gentlemen, these are not the only prominent leaders that Jalango is leading. There are many others who also come from the same place. Now, Jalango is not among the favorite members of parliament of the Luo Nyanza. Why am I saying so? When the Luo Nyanza people were solidly behind Raila Amolo Odinga, Jalango went ahead to join government and leave Raila Amolo Odinga into opposition. And in fact, even in the finance bill 2023, Jalango voted yes against Raila Amolo Odinga's ODM wishes, where they wanted them to vote no. Ladies and gentlemen, also another thing that you have to state here categorically, Jalango is a close friend and a personal friend of President William Ruto. I mean a personal friend in the sense that he has come out severally to say that William Ruto is his personal friend. So they can meet and share one or two as friends. Ladies and gentlemen, Jalango is also among the broad-based government members of parliament who are expected to echo the voice of Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto in wherever places they go. Now, what happened that resulted to Jalango getting heckled in a funeral in his home in Kisumu? Ladies and gentlemen, Kisumu is a low area and it's expected that such leaders can be celebrated. Let me tell you one simple story about Jalango again. Jalango, before he became a member of parliament, whenever he goes to Kisumu, or even he walks around in Nairobi, you could see how people were happy and very happy to see him. But now, it's the other way around. That is not the basis of my video here today. Today I want us to look at on some of the lessons that we can be able to borrow from the heckling that occurred to Raila Amolo Odinga's friend, Raila Amolo Odinga's member of parliament, and also William Ruto's friend in Kisumu, where we expect that in Luo Nyanza plus Kisumu included, William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga must get huge support. Before I take you through, if this is the first time you're watching my videos, kindly make sure that you subscribe, like and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. Ladies and gentlemen, that's much wasting of time. Let me dive into this topic here. Now, what is my first lesson that I was able to learn from this kind of an event? First, Raila Amolo Odinga's popularity has reduced significantly. And as we speak today, that's a big problem to Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto combined. The popularity that Raila Amolo Odinga had just before the 2024 June, ladies and gentlemen, it is what William Ruto wanted to have in 2027. But in a scenario where you see Luo Nyanza, leaders, members of parliament are being heckled, people speaking the language of Raila and William Ruto, then it must be troubling Raila Amolo Odinga on the basis that his relevancy is going down very fast and that it might not guarantee William Ruto huge support in 2027. And considering the spirit in the country right now, it is almost going to be entirely on William Ruto if Raila Amolo Odinga is not going to be very careful about his politics as we speak. Ladies and gentlemen, the popularity of Raila Amolo Odinga simply has reduced based on what people were saying there, heckling Jalango simply for speaking Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto's message there. That is a big problem. Secondly, another thing that I was able to learn from this, ladies and gentlemen, it's that Ruto is not the favorite candidate of the Luo Nyanza. And then I sat down and asked myself, what could be the reasons as to why William Ruto could not be the favorite candidate of Luo Nyanza? Number one, it is that William Ruto, during his reign, it's when Baba was actually much more tear-gassed than during Uhuru Kenyatta's reign. In the 2023 protests that Raila Amolo Odinga called, where we had a high cost of living, taxes being increased right, left and center, corruption had started at a high note, William Ruto really was in State House as Raila Amolo Odinga was being tear gassed in Kisumu, in Nairobi, and even his supporters being tear gassed in Kisumu. In one instance, there was a police officer who literally took, I think it was a gun canister, some metal, probably it was a gun. He hit the window, the media window, the media car's window that was with Raila Amolo Odinga's convoy, and then he directed tear gas inside to an extent that people were there almost actually died. And this police officer did not do it once. He did it repeatedly, moving across, seriously attacking Raila Amolo Odinga's convoy. At some point, Raila Amolo Odinga's vehicle was shot, and Raila Amolo Odinga said it was almost 10 bullets, where we had even his back window was even shot, which was directed towards Raila Amolo Odinga's seat. So in a nutshell, Raila Amolo Odinga had horrible experiences under President William Ruto. So even if, and actually if you follow closely, Raila Amolo Odinga was with his fans. His fans also were seriously tear gassed. Trouble was all over within the Mandamano. And if Raila Amolo Odinga managed to forgive William Ruto, the fans are yet to forget the experiences they had under President William Ruto. That could be the reason, one of the reasons as to why Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto's relationship is yet to be accepted by the people of Luo Nyanza, especially in Kisumu. Ladies and gentlemen, another reason I could actually say as to why Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto's rejection is being seen in Luo Nyanza, it is basically because of Albert Ojwang. When Albert Ojwang died, the story was all over. That despite Raila Amolo Odinga being with William Ruto, still the people from that region are still being killed. That was a sad story to everybody. And therefore, especially the youths who were heckling there, remember the story vividly. So that is what actually contributed to William Ruto's rejection within the Luo Nyanza, or even something that resulted to him not being the favorite candidate to Raila Amolo Odinga. Ladies and gentlemen, another thing that was very conspicuous from this particular event is this. Babu Owino is taking over and actually is becoming the people's darling when it comes to the Luo Nyanza politics.
Babu Owino debate governor Manarobi. Ko debate governor Manarobi o debate one term kende governor Manarobi. Ko tieko governor Manarobi the last dojo governor Manarobi.
After Jalango had made a mistake of mentioning Raila Amolo Odinga and William Ruto, the people started heckling him, and the only way he could save himself is by bringing in the name of Babu Owino, where he actually said that Babu Owino is going to be the governor of Nairobi. That was basically to try and get the crowd to his side. And in fact, it happened. In that the moment he mentioned Babu Owino being the governor of Nairobi, people started clapping, people started being happy, people started cheering. So in a nutshell, that is showing very well that the ground in Luo Nyanza, it is changing towards Babu Owino's side. And if it happens that he ascends to become the governor of Nairobi, then Babu Owino becomes the kingpin. Immediately Baba retires, or maybe so long as Baba is not actively involved in politics, then Babu Owino takes over the Luo Nyanza. Ladies and gentlemen, the last lesson that I was able to borrow from here, it is this. Jalango lost popularity a long time ago, and he has a big task even to get back to the Dagroti seat, to the Langata seat, in the sense that first he betrayed Raila Amolo Odinga, so he's not among the most trusted leaders of Raila Amolo Odinga to be in charge of Langata. Number two, he has also to some extent, now that he has declared to be in government with the broad-based government, he's going to face the DCP and the Jubilee parties in Nairobi, and that is going to be a tough time for Felix Odiwuor Jalango. So probably if he's not careful, he's also one term. But I believe if he's working for the people of Langata, he can get re-elected and proceed with his politics. I don't know what is your take, but that is what I was able to borrow from that event. Please make sure that you subscribe, like, and comment, because that is the best support you can always give this channel. My name is Abel Mukwa.